If you are a buyer, if you are a seller, if you are an investor, if you are a developer, if you're anyone who has any interest in our local market in Cedar City and the surrounding area, stay tuned because have I got a recap for you. In this video, we are going to cover interest rates, sales prices, historical and current. What is the makeup of our existing inventory? Which subdivisions are the hottest? That one is really fun. I'm going to take you through the sales by month. What is the best month to sell? What is the best month to buy? And I'm going to throw in some random facts and figures that you might find helpful, at least interesting. Let's get into it. So if we look back at the last 12 months, interest rates really peaked in November of 2023. November 22nd, actually, of 2023, the 30-year conforming rate was 7.76. Fast forward to into 2024, in September 30th of 2024, rates went down to 6.25. That's on a 30-year conforming. Now, where we are right now at the end of November 2024, they're hovering right about 7-ish% in that range. So there are some industry experts who are saying they expect the mortgage interest rate to come down in 2025, but it's not sounding as optimistic as like it was kind of last year. So I'm not going to make any predictions, but I do want to help set proper expectations of what 2025 is going to look like. Inflation has proved to be a little stickier than anticipated, and that's contributing to rates kind of staying in that same range that they've been. If we look at sort of the macroeconomic situation that we are going into in 2025, I don't expect to see really big swings, big changes in inventory, in prices, in interest rates in the next year. I'm hoping that they will come down a little bit, but I don't see any big swings coming at us in 2025. Let's get into some of the inventory statistics, some of the sales prices, some historical information, and maybe what that will mean going forward into 2025. Right now, the stats that I am giving to you are based on 818 sold residential transactions, and that's in Cedar City, Enoch, and the immediate outlying areas. So I include things like Spring Creek, Meadows Ranches. I don't include Parowan, I don't include Bryan Head, I don't include New Harmony. Those areas tend to skew the statistics a little bit. So when I'm talking to you about these stats, it's Cedar City, Enoch, immediate outlying areas of Iron County. So we're dealing with 818 sold residential transactions. Of those sold transactions in 2024, 362 of those were new construction. That's 44% of our existing inventory that was sold in 2024 was new construction. Right now, at this moment in time, if we look at our 6-month sold price, so the median sales price of the last 6 months worth of sales, in this same period of time last year, it was $363,000 was the median sales price for 6-month sales. Right now, it's $405,000 median sales price for 6 months worth of sales. So we've had about a 10% increase in sales prices. Why is that? That seems weird. So in 2024, our 6-month median age of the home, so if we look at the sales that were in the last 6 months, the median age of home was built in 2021. If we go and compare that to 2023, if we look at the same period of time, 6 months sold data, the median age of the home was built in 2019. So in 2024, the median age of a home is 3 years. In 2019, the median age was 4 years old. So why is that important? Because as we add more new construction homes to our existing inventory, new construction homes tend to maintain their prices at closing relative to a resale home. Builders don't have an emotional attachment to their home. This is a business. They have a profit margin that they need to maintain. They are building homes in response to market demand. And so their numbers far more often are what they are. Where if you're dealing with a resale, there's a lot more subjectivity to that based on the individual seller's motivation and need to sell and so forth. So as our percentage of inventory, which is new construction, goes up, that tends to make our sales prices stay closer to the list prices. And those sales prices are going to be sort of in response to what the builder thinks that the market will bear. Another thing that is pretty interesting about our market when we're talking about the makeup of the market. So we talked about the percentage of new construction versus the percentage of resales, and that new construction percentage is really increasing. That's how we're going to get through this inventory crunch, is to build our way out of it. So going forward, I anticipate that even more of our inventory is going to be new construction because people are moving into this area, not so much moving out. So that new construction is really, really critical to increasing our inventory levels. It's also having an impact on the pricing structure and the ratio of list to sales price, which I'm going to talk to you about in just a minute. The other thing that I think is really interesting about our market is the number of single family homes that are detached, so a single family detached home versus the number of single family attached homes. So I'm talking about twin homes, townhomes, anything with a shared wall. Out of our 1,818 homes sold to date, single family attached, where you've got a shared wall, but it's individually owned. It's got its own parcel number, so a townhome, twin home. 285 of those were sold in 2024. That is 35% of our market. I would be interested to know your thoughts on that because I thought it would be higher, but 35% of our market was either a townhome or a twin home, which means the balance of the market, 65%, is single family detached. Okay, let's pivot a little bit because I want to talk to you about which subdivisions are hot in this area. Now, the neighborhoods that I'm talking about, subdivisions that I'm talking about, I'm only giving you stats on single family detached neighborhoods. All of the townhome neighborhoods are doing very, very well. And I'm going to read these alphabetically. So, starting with 4B Ranch, 4 residential properties sold in 2024. Bridle Path West had 6. Crescent Hills came in at 19 residential properties sold in 2024. Crestline had 7. Equestrian Point had 7. Guess how many sold in Iron West? 44 residential transactions in 2024. Westview had 11. Magnolia Fields had 10. Old Sorrel had 8. And again, these are just the single families. This isn't the townhome portion of Old Sorrel, just the single family detached. Painted Desert had 7. Peakview had 9. I think Peakview is kind of a sleeper. I like Peakview. Saddleback had 6. This one surprised me because Saddleback is pretty hot. What I think is happening is they were selling a lot of lots. Some of those are going to be specs. I think those specs are going to come on the market in 2025. So I think that the residential sales in Saddleback are going to really go up a lot in 2025. Settlers Square had 24 residential sales. Talon Point had 10, and Valley at South Mountain had 6. Was one of your favorite subdivisions on there? Let me know if you have questions about any of those subdivisions. We could spend a lot of time doing a deep dive into those, but we have more stats to get to. Now, I get asked the question regularly, when is the best time to sell? When is the best time to buy? How about I give you the information about the number of sales per month in this area. And I will tell you, in the decades that I have been in this business, this is pretty consistent year over year and decade over decade. So November, December, January, those are really going to be our slowest months. It starts getting cold, you've got the holidays, so those are really where our market slows down a little bit. But let me give you the figures by month because I think that you'll find this interesting. So 2024, January, we had 42 sales. February, we had 71, which I think is interesting because that means that there's a bunch of people in January who are looking at homes and going under contract, and then they closed in February. March, there were 65. April went back up to 75. May had 95, popular month. June had 87. July went back up to 95. August had 84. September, 72. October, 85. And then back down to 47 again in November. That has been the pattern forever. I think November, December, January are slow. Most of the other months, you can see it really pops up again, and then it just kind of has this gentle little curve across the rest of the months. Okay, let me give you just kind of some interesting stats from 2024 about what our inventory looked like. Now, I know I talk about this a lot, but when I give you these stats, I always go with the median, which is the number that there is half above it and half below it. I rarely am going to give you the average because the average tends to skew high. The average is you just add up everything in the column, divide it by the number of rows, and it's not exactly representative of any one point in that data set. So we're going to talk about the median, and then just for comparison, I'm going to throw some averages at you as well. In 2024, the median square footage of homes that were sold was 1,810. Median home had 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, no surprise there. Let's talk about the list price to sales price ratio. If you look at the original sales price, the median original sales price was $410,000. Median list price at the time of sale was $400,000. Median sold price, $400,000. So the sold to list ratio, if you look at the list price at the time of sale, it was 100%. If you look at it relative to where it was from the original list price, the original list to the sale ratio is 98.74%. That says that there's not a ton of movement right now coming off of those list prices. What I do see happening though is sellers, builders, and resale sellers both being willing to pay for some of the buyer's closing costs. And that can take the form of, straight closing costs or maybe a rate buy down. There's several different ways to structure that. So there are some concessions happening. I just don't see a lot of it on the sales prices. Now, just to kind of give you a comparison, if we look at the average instead of the median is the number I always use, but if you look at the average original list price is $436,321 compared to the median at $410. If we look at what the homes were listed at the time of the sale, the average is $427,375 and the median was $400,000. So you can see that average tends to really skew up, which is why I use the median. Median price per square foot. And I want to kind of throw this out there because I get asked a lot, what's the average price per square foot? What's the median price per square foot? The price per square foot has meaning in some very, very limited ways. And I will give you an example. In our MLS, if you have a home with a basement that is unfinished, that square footage is counted as part of the total square footage. So you could be comparing a home with a basement that is unfinished to a home with a basement that is finished, and those prices per square foot are going to look a lot different when you are doing that comparison. So use that price per square foot with some caution, understand what you're looking at, and make sure that you are comparing apples to apples if you are going to use the price per square foot as a comparison. So with that caveat, our median price per square foot on our solds was $203 per square foot. Length of time on the market has really increased over the last couple of years. Right now, the median length of time on the market is 36 days. The average is 60 days. So you can see again how that average tends to skew really high, but the median number of days on market is 36 for our solds in 2024. Thank you for joining me on this statistical journey through 2024. I hope it was educational. I hope it was a little fun. If you have any specific questions that you would like me to do kind of a deeper dive into these numbers, let me know. We'll see you soon.